Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to do the lab on lower limb, and I am going to go over today tibia, fibula, and the foot. I will be going over foot because in the cuneiforms I made a little mistake in my previous recording, and I'm also going to go over patella as well because I made a little mistake in that as well. So I'm going to correct those, and my apology for that. But anyhow. Okay, so here is our femur. We did that last class. We did the OsCoxa as well, the last class. We also did the pelvic girdle and the comparison comparison between the male and the female girdle. Now I am over patella. So let's do the patella. Anterior surface, posterior surface, medial facet, lateral facet. And we are going to look at those. So, patella is a bone which is heart-shaped. So when you see it is bigger over here and then it becomes pointy right here. Now when you are trying to figure out which side patella it is, the pointiness needs to direct away from you. So this is where I am standing because you can see my hands. So the pointy part needs to be away from me. Once you have that figured out, then see the borders. Both borders you can see. Now this border is not touching the desk, but this border is touching the desk. See, this border is not touching the desk, and you can see over here it is touching the desk right here. Otherwise it would be kind of like in an aerodynamic situation. Okay, so you can see this side is not touching, this side is touching. Whichever side border touches the desk, the bone belongs to that side. So now this side is touching, and this is my left hand, this is my right hand. The right border is not touching the desk, left border is. So this is my left patella. So this is my left patella. Now, if this is the left patella, then this side is going to be my lateral facet. This side will be lateral facet. This side will be the medial facet because it is left patella. So look at the lateral facet now. So lateral facet is the bigger one. Last time when I went over it, I called the bigger facet the medial one. That was a mistake. So your lateral facet is the bigger facet. Please make a note. And your medial facet, which is this one, is the smaller facet. So medial facet is small. Lateral facet is the big one. Okay? And I made a note right there as well, right? That medial facet is small, lateral facet is big. Okay, now we are going to look at the tibia. Now for tibia, what are we supposed to know? So this is the terminology we are supposed to know. Medial condyle, lateral condyle, medial malleolus, tibial tuberosity, anterior crest, and intercondylar eminence. Okay. This is the tibia. Tibia is your medial bone, meaning it is present behind the big toe. So this is your medial bone. You see this protuberance right here? Okay. So this bone, it has proximal end. This is the proximal end, This is the shaft, and this is the distal end. Distal end is going to be making your ankle joint. Coming to the proximal end, you see this protuberance right here in the front. That is your tibial tuberosity. Tuberosities are where muscles attach. So your patellar tendon is going to come and attach here. This right here that you are looking at, these two, these are your condyles. Now condyle, the one which is right next to the medial malleolus is medial condyle. This is medial condyle because it is right next to the medial malleolus. So you see this medial malleolus, whichever condyle is next to it is the medial condyle. So this is medial malleolus. And this is the medial condyle. If this is medial condyle, then this has to be the lateral condyle. Okay, if this is medial, then this is lateral, this is tibial tuberosity. Now I'm going to show you the bird's eye view of the tibia, which means you are looking at the top part of the tibia. So remember, this is medial condyle, this is lateral condyle, this is medial condyle from up top, this is lateral condyle from up top. This is intercondylar eminence. Inter, in between. So it is in between the two condyles, and it's an eminence because it is a protruding part. This top part is what makes your knee joint with the lower end of the femur, like this. And then on top of it, you have the patellar, in the patellar groove, the patella. Do you see that? Everyone clear? Okay. Now notice fibula does not make, is not taking part in the formation of, now there is a problem with this. Okay, so your fibula is the lateral bone, but fibula articulates with the tibia. It does not articulate and take part in the formation of knee joint. Do you understand? So just remember that. Okay, now coming back to the tibia, I did medial condyle, I did lateral condyle, I did tibial tuberosity, I did medial malleolus, I also did intercondylar eminence, I also did that. Now you see this part, this sharp edge that is present anteriorly, this is called anterior crest. And you can rub your finger on it and you can feel how sharp it is. This is what is called shin. So when you are trying to get a bone graft, this is the bone that you get the bone graft from, because this is right underneath your skin. The rest of the bones in your body are pretty deep, so you have to really dig deep to get to the bone for the graft. This one you only cut through the skin and you can get the graft. Okay, so that is your tibia. Now what side tibia it is? As I said, this is a medial bone. And since it is medial bone, it is going to be present behind the big toe. And if it is present behind the big toe, then medial malleolus needs to be medially present. So at your ankle joint, the bone that sticks out, that is your medial malleolus. And I will have to unfortunately show you that. Okay, so you see this right here, this thing sticking out, that is your medial malleolus, which is part of your foot, right ankle. Now, this bone is going to be my medial bone, so it should fit right here. Because this is going to be then right behind my big toe, and this thing sticking out right here is going to be this bone sticking out right here. So medial malleolus is going to stick out, and that way we know this is my right tibia. Okay. The next bone is fibula. Fibula is the most useless bone. It's the feeble bone. Fibula, feeble. Okay, weak bone. It's not actually weak bone, but it is thin compared to tibia. That's how I call it. Okay, now, how to figure out which one is the proximal and which one is the distal end? Because they do ask on this bone lateral malleolus and the styloid process. Now in the arms, which was in the forearm, if you remember, styloid processes were at the distal end. Right? Styloid processes were at the distal end. In the fibula, so see that styloid processes were at the distal end in radius and ulna of the forearm. In the lower leg, styloid process in the fibula is up top. So you see right here, this is the styloid process of the fibula. This is the fibula, the entire bone. This is the styloid process. This is the styloid process. Styloid process is going to be directed backwards, not in the front. This is the front, this is the back, right back of the bone. Now, this is the front, this is the back of the bone. This right here is your lateral malleolus. Lateral malleolus is this part which is going to really stick out, okay, and it's going to be present laterally. And that is all you need to know. Styloid process directed backwards, lateral malleolus directed laterally. This is a lateral bone which should be behind your little toe. And when you direct it properly, you see this part? This should be anterior. You see this ridge, this line, this should be anterior. Okay? Did you take it? Okay, now let's see which side bone is this. This is going to be my lateral bone. Yes, this will be a lateral bone. So I will have to show you. Okay, so this is the bone, and this styloid process is at the top. It has to direct backwards, not in front. It should be in the back. This sharp margin, and again, when you circle your fingers around the shaft of the bone, you are going to feel a sharp margin. There will be another margin, but it will be more rounded, and one of them will be sharp. So you are going to feel two margins. One is the sharp margin, the other one will be the rounded margin. I'm not talking about the rounded margin. I'm talking about the sharper one. That needs to be in front. And your lateral malleolus needs to be present laterally. So where is the lateral malleolus? You see this thing sticking out on the lateral side of your foot. That is your lateral malleolus of the fibula. So when I direct it this way, you can see sharp margin in front, you can see styloid process up top, and you can see the lateral malleolus on the side. And that tells you, oh, this is my left fibula. Now, know the spelling, please. Sometimes students write, which is wrong. Sometimes students may write tibia as tibula, which is wrong, and fibula as fibia, and that is a common mistake. Please know this is fibula, not fibia. This is tibia and not tibula. And that is all for the bones of the leg. Now we are going to look at bones of the foot. We already did it, but I am going to quickly address it. Which side foot it is? This is pretty easy to figure out because of the big toe. Big toe should let you know whether it is a right foot or a left foot. This is right foot because of the big toe. Big toe should tell you what side foot it is. Now, in your handout, I think it shows 8 bones, which is incorrect. These are basically 7 bones. Let's count. 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now what they are counting is trochlea. Trochlea is the surface. This is the surface. So it is a feature on the bone. The bone is talus. This is talus. Trochlea is a feature of this bone, which is the smooth surface that is going to articulate with the tibia. Do you see that? Now, this is calcaneum or calcaneus. This is what makes the heel of the foot. And your Achilles tendon, for example, if this is the tendon, it comes and attaches here. Achilles tendon is the tendon of your calf muscle. It comes and attaches here, which is called tendocalcaneum. Then you have this big, almost cube-shaped bone that is called cuboid. And in front of the talus bone, you see this weird looking horizontal elongated bone. That is navicular. These 3 bones are cuneiforms, and that is where I made the mistake. I called this bone in my other recording medial bone, and that is not right. This bone is your lateral cuneiform. Okay? Medial has to be underneath the big toe. I mean, not underneath, behind the big toe. So this is your medial cuneiform. This is your middle cuneiform. Oh, sorry, not middle. This is your intermediate cuneiform is what your handout is calling it. So this is medial cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, and then there is the lateral cuneiform. So these three cuneiforms are present, and then you have the cuboid. Now this is the proximal end. This is the distal end. So these are your metatarsals. Metatarsals make the sole of your foot, just like metacarpals make the palm of your hand. The flat surface is the base. The rounded surface is your, you can see from the back side, rounded surface is the head. And then of course, you are going to see the shaft. The rounded surface is at the bottom because this is what pushes your foot backwards, gives you the friction against the ground to lunge you forwards. Do you understand? That is why you have such rounded metatarsals to help you walk or run. These are phalanges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. This is the big toe. Big toe is the only one that has 2 phalanges. Each of the rest have 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can see 3, 3, 3. Now phalanges, this is your proximal phalanx, and this is your distal phalanx, because it's a big toe. Now, this is your proximal phalanx, this is distal, and this right here is your middle phalanx. This is your middle phalanx. And all these are your toes. When you are naming your toes, make sure you are naming them as digit 1, this is digit 2, so you have to write it in Roman numeral. Digit 3, digit 4, and digit 5. It's kind of hard to write upside down. Digit 5. So the first one is your thumb. The first one is your big toe. The last one is your little toe. Just like how you do it in the hands. The thumb is number 1 and the pinky is number 5. And that is all we are going to do today. So I hope this is helpful.